It's my pleasure to welcome our newest leader, who has been deeply involved in driving innovation and the open ecosystem strategy at Microsoft and now at AMI. Ken Sun brings an extensive experience to platform technologies, industry collaborations, and helping to shape the future of open infrastructure for next generation computing initiatives. So please join me in welcoming Ken Sun.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I get the clicker?
Yes.
All right. All right. Good morning. And welcome. Welcome to OCP Day Zero. It's obviously a beautiful place here in Barcelona. I wish you just a wonderful time here to discover and connect and network and actually exchange learnings, right, on this AI compute deployment challenge that we are all facing, right, an opportunity. I think it's an exciting time to be in this space. We are together undertaking probably the most consequential engineering task in history, right? It's no easy task, but it's an exciting journey, and we really look forward to the exciting exchanges that we have. And today we have a wonderful list of speakers that are very qualified to talk in detail about the technology, the stack, and the solutions, and we really look forward to having that deep discussion together. And over the last couple of decades, we've gone through inflection points and paradigm shifts like this, right? Whether that's through PC, mobile, the internet era, right? We've all gone through this, but I think this time with AI, it just feels different, right? I think the speed, the scale, and also the impact that we are feeling is unprecedented, right? And it's really driving a change in every layer of the tech stack. Starting with energy, we're seeing it being transformed. With the silicon, with cloud, with AI models, and on the apps, right? And I think there's one common denominator with firmware and actually being a single control plane that brings all those factors together, right? So I think for this today, and also my session, is that we need a new approach to combining and really making the control plane part of the planning versus an afterthought, right? That's typically what it feels like today in the industry, right? As Julia mentioned, I come from part of this industry, from the cloud side, and in the past, it wasn't really talked about, right, the firmware level. But I think more and more we're seeing the challenges that whether you're a hyperscaler, a neocloud, or an operator that are facing, that is forcing us to have an open path for a AI data center command and control approach, right? So I think that's the purpose of today, and also for my session to really tee it up for our speakers to talk in more detail. And if you think about the challenge that we talk about, in essence, the entire industry is trying to solve the same problem, right? With the speed of innovation and also just the demand in AI data center, how can we innovate fast enough? How can we scale fast enough? And how can we deploy fast enough, right? I think in the end, we all know we are driven by the massive demand of AI data centers, and then we're really working at light speed, right? We've heard that term used a lot, and sometimes it feels like it. It feels like we're being asked to work at light speed. And because I think the challenge that we're facing, in addition to speed, is continue to be more complex, right? Here we're looking at the scale of these clusters. AI clusters are unprecedented. They dwarf anything we've run in the past before, right? And we're seeing the business impact of downtime. We've always had downtime, right? But we're seeing the business impact of downtime also being at levels that are almost detrimental to business, right? Here we're having an example of an hour of downtime could cost $1 million, which I would argue, being a large-scale hyperscaler, sometimes that's even more. Usually that's what comes up in the news the first time, right? When things are not running as it should be. And also, to the right, the amount of investment going to DC data center investment continues to increase, right? It's in the trillions of dollars. You can put 7 trillion, you can put 5 trillion, but again, it's a number that we've not faced in the past before, right? So I think basically the challenge and the scale of the business impact that we are all faced with is unprecedented and really requires a rethinking of our approach, right? And I think, again, we've been driven by this speed in the past, but I will say a lot of it was driven by the manufacturing point of view, right? It was always just getting the silicon, getting the system out, getting it deployed. But now that the systems are deployed, right, we're seeing more and more the feedback and the challenge resonating through from data center operators and hyperscalers, and we'll talk more about those challenges in detail. I don't know if you had the chance to read a white paper we put out, and actually our CEO, Sanjoy, has that white paper and also has a number of podcasts that we've shared, where we talked about the factory challenges as the five-headed hydra. And I really like this analogy, right? We know in Greek mythology, the hydra is the creature that almost cannot be defeated, right? Because when you cut off one head, two more grow in its place, right? And we think it's quite analogous to the challenge that AI data center operators are facing, right? In what sense? Meaning, they're faced with these five big challenges, but you can't really solve any one of them by its own, right? We know the five are interconnected, and actually, when you don't have a handle on them, actually the complexity and the challenge almost grows exponentially, like a hydra, right? It just keeps growing, becomes more of a monster that you cannot deal with. I think the platform fragmentation is probably the most pronounced because almost every day we see a news release with whether that's the advancement of CPUs, GPUs, DPUs, or NICs, right? And also just a new line, a new family of AI accelerators that continue to be coming down the pipe. And we know it's only going to come even faster and more as we speak, right? And each will come with its own management model, its own behavior. It's fragmented, right? And what's happening in the operator space is, at a best attempt, right? You have these fragmented control planes that you're trying to stitch together at the operator site, and basically it's just fragmentation at its best, right? I think it's one that we continue to hear. It's a challenge that there's no solution for, right? I'd say the second one is front and center, right? Because again, coming from a hyperscaler space, security is really job number one, or job number zero, actually, right? It's when you run these mission-critical workloads, right, getting it secured, and on top of security, it's now compliance, is really, again, we call it table stakes, right? If you cannot run a workload securely, it doesn't matter how good that large language model is, right? And also what we're seeing is, with the security challenge, a lot of times it's not seen, right? It's, we need a different approach to securing your data center from the hardware, the physical hardware, to the silicon, all the way to your model and the applications on top. We talk about security needs to be built in and not bolt on. We also have models for how do you secure by design, secure by operations, and also secure by default. These are all things that we need to think about beforehand and not think about it as an afterthought, right? And specifically about security, we're seeing that with this fragmentation, that also makes it even more difficult, right? Again, in the security space, we know that your attack space becomes vulnerable when you have silos, right? So I think, again, that's the point about these challenges are interconnected, right? They're not different problems where you can just assign different teams to address separately. Power and thermal, it's one that it continues to evolve. We've always had power and thermal challenges in data centers, but I'll say the past baseline of stable and predictable power is no longer an option, right? We know now with AI workloads, things are much more dynamic and things are much more unpredictable, right? And also as die sizes for chips get bigger, these challenges become more pronounced because your configuration starts drifting, not only it's a data center problem, but in the rack and also at the chip level, you're faced with these challenges. So what we're seeing, what needs to happen is you need to have an integrated control that's close to the hardware, right? We know just having a software dashboard that takes input from, is not good enough, right? Because the decision making and the response really needs to bring together your IT and OT infrastructure, and also the control loop needs to be real time at the hardware level, right? So again, this is not a new problem per se, but then the fact that we need to make decisions faster in real time, and then now in different parts of your rack in your data center makes it a new challenge that we're trying to solve in this space. Fleet scale management. Again, we talked about the scale of fleets that our customers are operating. What they want is really consistency, and when your cluster goes down, as it will, you need to know, and you need to be able to respond and see each node, right? And again, this is something that we're all faced with, and how do you govern that? How do you have predictable APIs? And as your data center management is leveraging AI, agentic AI more and more, I think this becomes an opportunity, but also a bigger challenge, right? Because you need to have more consistent APIs so you can have an AI agent being able to operate and spin up new clusters and also decompose clusters, through management. And I would say, last but not least, resilience at scale, AI scale, right? It's something, again, we like to call it's table stakes, meaning it's the minimum that we need now, right, to ensure that you're running these trillion-dollar CapEx investments operations in a predictable way, right? So I think this is a good framing of the overall challenge, and I'm sure we have a lot of manufacturers and also operators in the room today, and you can hopefully resonate, right? You see that these challenges are something that you're hearing, you're addressing every day. And our thesis or our approach is that no single infra player can solve this alone, right? So I think the point of today is really to have this platform where we can together rethink this problem, and then also position the firmware as the common control plane and denominator to address some of these challenges that we're seeing with the five-headed hydra. And as we are grappling with this complexity, we see that the speed of change is not slowing down, right? And again, it doesn't take me to tell you this. I'm sure you're living through this every day. And here's something that we're now, again, it's now more top of mind than ever. It's really the power consumption of these systems, right? We're seeing the power per rack increase at unprecedented rates, which in turn makes the power consumption of your data center estate increase at unprecedented rate. And as a result, the investment overall continues to evolve, right? So again, the stakes on the table just becomes larger as we progress forward. With the innovation at scale and speed that we're talking about, and also with power consumption continue to scale, we're seeing it brings new challenges in terms of our management realities. We talked about some of them, like in the middle, the silicon complexity that we talked about is a challenge that we're living through day to day, right? Which, again, as AMI, as a partner of many of the silicon and platform firmware, we see this, and we see that we're asked to continue to support the ecosystem, which we have been, and that challenge and also an opportunity becomes more pronounced. We just saw that, ARM came out with the AGI CPU, and that journey we started with ARM about 2.5, 3 years ago, right? And now it's being deployed at Meta and also a number of other customers. So I think that journey is something that it's happening, but then it's already happened years back. And then I think we're all going to see that accelerate as these ecosystem frameworks become more and more pronounced. Refresh cycles are collapsing is something that I'm hearing in discussions, in every single discussion I have with a hyperscale operator, is the fact that because things are accelerating and because compute, networking, and power is all accelerating. Operators are being asked to basically collapse their refresh cycles and also do it in a synchronous way, right? So I think, again, it's a challenge that was there before, but the fact that it's now getting shorter and shorter becomes a bigger problem that we're all faced with. Platform divergence, right? Because we see that the ODMs are taking a lead in many of their approach as the platform diverges. So now that, again, the fragmentation challenge becomes more and more pronounced. So the system is now scaling faster than operators can normalize, right? I think this is something that we're feeling. So where does that bring us today, right? So basically, we see that the challenge in AI data center complexity, these are the 3 bullets that we've kind of synthesized, right? That we're hearing in our customer and partner conversations, that we feel, it's very important to have the management of compute platforms, power and cooling, integrated in a single control plane or a single plane of glass, right? I think that this is something that we are addressing very actively, and something that we're hearing from, again, our customers. And it's interesting. They're not even asking for a silver bullet solution here, right? I'm hearing that they want tools that gives them observability, traceability, and also they can just debug to begin with, right? So they know that it's something that we cannot solve overnight, but they're really asking us to bring these things together, right? So we can help them debug issues as their systems becomes unstable and needs to be addressed in a war room and solve their challenges. Heterogeneous silicon that we talked about several times must be managed with a common framework, right? And here we see ARM's attempt with CSS, with the Neoverse in the data center. So again, these common frameworks are going to become more and more, or these frameworks are going to become more and more common moving forward. So we also need to address that in a different way. Platform diversity needs to have consistent oversight hooks that we talked about. Telemetry is no longer enough, but we need to really have hooks so we can take action when we need to, right, in real time. And on this challenges for AMI, we've been in this space, right? I think we have over 4 decades of firmware delivery experience and also track record, working with the entire ecosystem to address these inflection points. And here, again, we're not going to name all the inflection points, but you can see the PC inflection point, you can see the internet, the mobile area, and then we can see that AMI has, along with firmware, been the common denominator in working with everybody in this room to address the challenges that we've laid out. Because we see that firmware for AMI is really the foundation of this control plane, right? And not only we have the track record, we have everything from edge to cloud. We have basically silicon and system firmware. We also have rack management middleware and also data center management software that we're now truly a full stack solution provider that we work with in the entire value chain of the data center, from silicon vendors, OEMs, ODMs, to power and cooling companies, and also with hyperscaler and neoclouds, right? So we feel AMI is not only working on this problem, but we are at the center of addressing it, working with the entire ecosystem and working with everybody in this room. Our vision is for a unified and open control plane for AI factories. We feel it's foundational to be based on open and transparency. And here for us, it's not only a technology statement, but it's really a reflection of our mindset and culture that we've adopted. So as you know, over the years, AMI has been a leading contributor to OCP and also OpenBMC, a number of OCP working groups, but also OpenBMC standards as well, right? So I think for us, like I said, it's not only a technology statement, but it really reflects our company culture and mindset change and how we really adopt open first strategy moving forward. In the last couple of slides, I want to wrap on kind of what's new, right, with us. So here we're very excited to announce that Mega Rack One Tree Community Edition. It's really our solution to a unified foundation for open source BMC. Here it reflects our open first model. I won't go into details, don't worry about it. Zach will talk in more details about the specifics and how this will drive this open first model. But essentially you can think about it combining upstreaming and predictable downstreaming along with enterprise system level support and also with modern tooling and also management platforms to ensure that you have a platform that you can not only use and adopt, but also scale with your operations, right? And our experts will talk in more details in addressing. And also it's very much aligned with the Linux Foundation's OpenBMC project, and we're making it available on the open OCP marketplace, right? So very excited about this announcement moving forward. Here again, I won't talk into the details about the model, but essentially we're doubling down on open source, not only from a technology view, but also the business model that you'll hear more about in the coming sessions. And this is really our solution to not only scaling interoperability, but also driving lower total costs of ownership and also faster time to market, right, to meet your needs and also what your customers demand of you. Last but not least, super excited to announce our AMI Partner Alliance. We know we cannot embark on this journey by ourselves. We need to work with the entire partner ecosystem. So here we formalized our Partner Alliance program where we can work together on this challenge and really contribute together on co-innovation, co-design, and also having validated production-ready firmware together. And here again, we're segmenting and collaborating across silicon, OEM, ODM, ISVs, hyperscaler, and also neoclouds. So everybody together that's needed to pick together the full stack solution for a data center operator. So more details to come in the later sections. I want to close just by saying that we addressed a lot of these points. We got to really ensure that we don't continue to add to the complexity, right? And here's not a statement from us, but actually an ask for you to join us on this journey. We need to ensure that security is built in, not bolted on. We want to ensure that all of you come with us on this journey and join our Alliance Partner Program. So with that, I will hand it over to our next speaker, and I wish you all a great day today and also a great 2 days at OCP EMEA. Thank you.